Hello, class. So today we're going to be talking about the Franciscan Friars, who are missionaries for the Roman Catholic Church. They're a very unique group that I've started doing the research on. I'm actually I have narrowed my research down to looking at the actual Texas missions, but the unique factor in kind of looking at how this all comes into being, you have to understand the major actors within this setting. You have to understand the friars, of course. Then, of course, you're looking at the natives, and of course, the final is the Spanish conquistadors. And this is the three of them makes a very unique triangle. So this is the whole setting and how it plays out. Um, to understand this, you have to look at the actual history of the Catholic Church, the especially during this time period, and also Spain and Portugal, which is really their strongholds during the time. Even though the Catholic Church is actually the main setting is actually Rome, Italy, their true strongholds are actually Spain and Portugal. This is where they're very, very strong. This is where you have a very heavy union between the actual church and state. There's a point where where the king actually dies, and an archbishop is actually put as his regent during this time period. And this will actually play out into one of the other issues that comes up. It's very, as I said, but there's also a rift, which is kind of that issue that I'm talking about, because there's a rift that you really find where the conquistadors are there for that's supposed to be God, glory, and gold. It's quite actually the opposite. It's actually gold, glory, and God. Because, yes, they're doing it in the name of God, but they're really looking for the gold and the glory. And this is something that's very, very prominent in what you see in their actions and everything else. And this becomes an issue when one of the Dominican friars actually turns around, reports about on a Christmas sermon, tells about all the thousands of natives who died and who these conquistadors had worked to death to gain their gold and out of their mines. And this enrages the people of Spain. And this is what ends up then finally another individual who started off as a nobleman who then became actually took his vows and actually becomes a priest. He goes over there. And when he goes over there, he finds the same issue and he reports this. And this is when the archbishop then sends over a tribunal of friars to take over the area, but it really doesn't change much of the situation, but kind of gives a showing of what the issues are coming up. And this is where you find the friars. The friars are very unique, especially when you look at the Franciscan friars. Franciscan friars, they have been to some of the most inhospitable lands to convert the natives, and they've risked their lives for the purpose of saving these people's souls. That's what they're there for. They take a vow of poverty. They take a vow of not wanting to take any pleasure, any sort of anything else. Their whole purpose in life is to actually serve God and to bring others to God. And that is what they're doing. And this is what we then start focusing on. This is what we start seeing as they come into the things. They start kind of acting as a buffer. And then they see them forming in the missions. This is where they start bringing the communities together. And this is something that you still see today in today's society. Whenever you come down here into like San Antonio or any of the Texas region, you'll find most of that community is based around the Catholic Church. And you even have active missions here today. So this is something very, very unique, and it's something that has been